Okay, I think we're recording now. Okay, so what I'd like to go over then is, what's required for each week. It's the same for each week, so no problem. So I'm going to share my screen. I guess, I don't know how. Oh, brother. Okay, the entire screen. There we go. Okay, I'm going to allow it. All right, so you should be starting to see my whole screen here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go over to the class here, and this is kind of the splash page, and I hope I can stick this someplace else. How about down here? Or does this? I don't know if that thing is distracting. I'll just put it down here so I can get a hold of it. Anyway, the splash screen is this. Hopefully everybody's seen the welcome. Up in this area, I get a message that says, if I've got any new posts or anything like that, or emails, and I also get an indication when assignments are there. You probably get an indication when I've graded or given feedback back. Anyway, the way I do the way I navigate through here is I use this menu bar here, and okay, somebody else just joined us. Let's see where we're at. Okay, so, or I thought somebody just joined us. Must have been a email message. Okay, so what I do to navigate is I go to these various menu items here, and so the key ones that I do are assignments, discussions, quizzes, and of course I do grades, and that's I don't know if you see that one, but that's the grade book. But if you ever are in doubt, the things that we do each week, there's an assignment, there's a discussion, and a quiz. Those are the three things that are components of your grade. So over and over and over again. Okay, so then the other thing here then is the content. And what I like to do is open it up in a new tab. So I right mouse clicked and open it up right here. So here's the new tab. And here's the contents of the course. Okay, so if you look along this left menu, there is the contents. So the main thing is this section, getting started in the syllabus and stuff. And I think I'm in that already. Yeah. So, all right. Now this is the syllabus. You should have read over that. And I think somebody told me the other day that that there was something in there. Something in there about discussions. Hold on a second. Something in there about discussions. I forgot to take a look. So to the syllabus. All right. So I'm going to cover that too. I'm going to use a different method for the discussion this time around. And if I got anything referring to the old, we'll not do that. So don't get shook up. Okay, so some of the things that you can get answers to: how to hand in your homework, how do you check your score? So you go and look at the grade book, and please do check your score and figure out where you're at. And if you're concerned, get with me as soon as possible. We'll fix stuff quickly. All right, so the discussion board guideline, that might be it. Let me take a quick look at this. Yeah, I'm going to update that. It's going to be different. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to show you the latest thing, and this is a copy. And typically what I do is I'd put a link. In fact, I probably should do that. I put a link over to the material, and I just change it once. So I did something against what I normally do. So let me go back to here, and you see too, you got kind of the path that you've gone down, so you can go back if you'd like to. I'm not sure that the back arrow here is always going to help you to navigate the way you think it's going to navigate. Okay, getting back to where I was. Okay, so checking my scores. Okay, so one of the things that I'm suggesting is, and I'll show you, I'm using JGrasp. You may want to use another compiler or interactive development. IDE is what they call it for short, but interactive development environment. And I'll show you JGrasp. You may have your favorite. There are all kinds of them. You can use whatever you want, whatever you like. If you got any experience with like Visual Studio stuff or I don't know. There's an IBM one, and I forgot what the heck that one's called. Some of them are a little harder to use because they're so they're pretty in depth. You can use them at a simple level, but they can get over your head pretty quick. Okay, so here's what I do want to talk about then is this grading criteria, and let me just open that up. Okay, so these what I'm looking for are the things that are listed here with the double slashes. The double slashes are how you do a comment in Java. So I just use that here. So each one of these things. So when you turn in your code, you know, I'd like it to successfully compile. And now this is pretty harsh, but failure to compile, 0 points. Okay, so you would be good if you talk to me. If you have a problem getting your code to compile, I've looked at a lot of these things now, and I can probably see it pretty quick. But one of the important things is, or the messages that that come up when you see a compile. Let's see, everybody. Can't see anybody when I'm looking at my screen. I need 2 screens. So anyway, everybody's still awake. All right, so I'm gonna go back to here. So this is important. I want a comment header with your name. So I tell you what, I'm gonna move this crazy thing out of my way, and I'm gonna show you JGrasp. And here's an example of a program that I wrote that was thinking about handing out as an assignment and never did. But I'm scrolling through this code pretty quick here. It's probably make you dizzy, but I'm going to show you in this code some of the things that I'm looking for in the grading criteria. So this first thing I'm asking for is a header. This represents a file. The file is morrisecode.java as listed right down here. Okay, that's the file that contains this code. Up at the top of the file is what I'm talking about here, a comment header with your name. Okay, so just put your name in there, and you can make this thing look however you want to. Okay, and I mentioned before that these double slashes over here, those are comments, and not to get ahead of ourselves, I think we discussed comments in the first chapter, but this is a comment right here. So everything from these double slashes is Morse codes. These are given as constants, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, and now this is another way. So if you want to comment out a whole block of lines in your code, you can do it this way. So this is literally a comment, but you may get to a point where in your code you say, "Oh, I don't want to do that. This is a system out print. Okay, so I don't want to do that." In fact, you're going to learn about this in the first lesson, I think. So I don't want that. So I just temporarily comment it out. Okay, and so you can use that to your advantage when you're debugging your code. So I'll put it back in. Okay, so let me show you how this program works. It might help you to see. So when you got two ways you can approach it. You select the build here in this JGrasp. You can compile and run, or you can just run. If it needs to compile again, because it will have noticed that I had made a code change there. When I just select run, it'll actually compile and then run. So it'll do both. So let me just run this thing, show you how the program works or doesn't work. So what this thing does is a Morse code converter. And one of the other things here is that your user prompts make sense. So these would be user prompts right here. Morse code. Okay, enter the text to convert. And if you want to quit, you type 3 E's, 3 lowercase E's. So we can do this, the typical first program in most programming languages is a hello world, right? So, okay, and then I enter my input and press enter. Now I'm going to open this up and you can see what it did. Okay, so I typed hello world, and then it gave the Morse code equivalent for each one of those. So if you're into Morse code, you see that the ... or dit is how you say it. Dit would be that one. Da. Anyway, so that would be the way that programs work. So if I wanted to do it again, it's in a loop, by the way. So I can try something else, and we'll see what happens. So okay, so what it did was it converted everything to capital letters here, and the period, it even has a code for that. Da. Or I said it wrong. Da. Okay, and then when you want to quit the program, you can just goodbye. All right, so let me go back to the code here, and we can talk about some of the things that I want to see in your code. So we talked about I want to see your name at the top. And then another important thing I want to see is we have these curly brackets, we call them. They have a formal name, but curly brackets, I'd really like to see those labeled. And let's see, comments. Label the closing curlies, okay, for all classes and methods. And it turns out that in Java, everything's a class. So I can see, if I hover over this closing curly, I can see that the opening curly is up there at the top. Now, one thing that I'm missing right now, and I don't remember how to stick it on here as yet, but I will figure it out, is put line numbers on. And it's not, I don't see it readily here, but if I saw the line numbers, I could, it's easier to work with. Anyway, that opening curly then was all the way back to there. So you see now end class. So the class is Morse code, okay? And the interesting thing that happens in Java as well is the file name is also Morse code .java, and then the main class within the file is then called Morse code, okay? And then on the closing curly of the class, I'd like you to say, you know, this is the end of the class. All right, so now within a file, you'll also have, and when we start out here, we'll only have what we call main. And main is what you would call a method. So, and I would like to see, you can see when I hover over here, you see down at the bottom, the highlights the closing curly, and I have / end main. And so it really helps me to read the code. And the other thing that it'll help you to keep curlies straight. So you want to see that all these curlies line up. You have the right number of curlies. And it'll also do in JGrasp, it'll hover over opening and closing parentheses. So you'll want those. Like here's one that gets kind of parentheses heavy. This is a for loop. We'll talk about those in a few lessons. But you can see that there's a parentheses pair around the whole conditional statement here, and then you got smaller groupings and parentheses in this one here. Let's see if we got any other ones. Okay, I think that's enough of that. Okay, so that's the labeling the closing curlies. I really want to see it, and then we'll learn about constants next lesson. But you're not going to get any points off this time for constants. But once we start using constants, I want to see them. And I always talk about constants in capital letters. There's, I think I had a group of constants in here someplace. Where, yeah, these are them right here. Yes. Okay. So I've labeled them here as constants. And what I did was I made up, in this particular case, you can see these are all of the Morse code strings here. So here's an A, and I've got a shorthand name for this variable, A_MC for Morse code. So A_ Morse code. And that's how you do or you label a constant. It's all caps, all capital letters, and underscores between words. So all of these are considered constants. And I don't have any in this program. I don't think I have any numeric constants. So if you see numbers in your code, or if I see numbers in your code, it may be a problem, like even a 0 here. This one here is, we're using this quite a bit, so I don't get too uppity over that. But sometimes you see these numbers in the code and you can end up with a problem. And my standard example for why you would want to have a constant, let me save that for next week. We'll talk about constants next week. We're talking about grading criteria right now, so I easily get derailed here. Okay, so along with constant, you have constants, you have unnamed numeric constants. We'll talk about that next week. And proper strings and proper functionality. Yeah, does the program work? Proper functionality. So does it work? And then I already talked about user prompts that make sense. One of the things that I've found in the examples that they give us in ZyBooks sometimes, we saw how there was a prompt here, enter the text to convert. You know, they don't put anything there, and there's just like this cursor standing there blinking at you like this, like that. That's all you get, and that's like, well, that doesn't help me at all. What am I supposed to do? You know, give some kind of a feedback or a prompt to help people out. Okay, so when you get your feedback back, in fact, I ought to just show you how I do that. Let me get rid of that and go into here. Yeah, I got everything laid out here all ready for the the new semester here. You know what? Oh, these are the solutions. Oh, you don't want to see the solutions, and I'm recording. Boy, you guys, you're going to get one over on me. So, okay. Yeah, no solutions. We're not showing those. So, okay. So let me go back. Where was I? Okay. Yeah, file. Okay, so here's the, here's how I do it, just so you know. Okay, so when I'm looking at your code that you turn in, one of the first things I look at is at the top of the file. Does it have your name? And then I copy the name, so I don't have to type it out here. So that's why I want your name at the top of your file. And in fact, later on in the class, we may have programs with multiple files. So I want your name on every one of the files. So just don't forget. Okay, and then you see in this particular case we have an abbreviated list of the grading criteria. And as we move into new things, some more things will be added. But I already talked about successfully compiling, a comment header with your name, and indenting is important. In something like Python, has anybody got any Python experience, by the way? Anybody? Okay. No Python experience. Okay, we're all right with that. It's okay. Okay, good. Yeah, in Python they actually make sure that that you do the indenting correctly. But let me go back to JGrasp here and show you this code and show you what I'm talking about for indenting. And let me go all the way back to main here. I hope I'm not driving your eyeballs crazy. Okay, I'm going to go back down again. All right, I'm going to stick the whole main function on the screen. So I showed you the opening and closing curlies, okay? So you want all of the code that's between those two curlies to be indented at least 2, maybe 3 spaces. So this is 2 spaces from the edge of the curly, or you could say 3 from the start of the curly. Okay, and then when I arrow down, it should follow that all the way down. Now I'm going to go back up again. Okay, so you follow what I'm saying there? So, sometimes people don't get it, but it's basically like you've made outlines in order to write an essay or something, and you put a header and then you indent and the things that are going to be in that section, and you indent each one of the things that are going to be in that section. That's kind of the same thing we're doing with the code, and it really helps to read the code well. And then you see this. This is a loop. We'll learn about those later in the class. I'm not asking you to. But I'm just showing you there is such a thing. This is what you'd call a do-while loop. And so it too has an opening and closing curly. We don't have to label this one, but we do want to indent. Let's see if I did it the same. It doesn't look like I did it the same. I've only got 2 spaces there, but I was consistent within the do-while loop. So what you typically do is pick an indent. I'm going to go 3 spaces from the start of the curly. 1, 2, 3. Okay, everybody's happy. Okay, so 1, 2. Oh, I'm short. So anyway, so I'd say at least two indents, two spaces of indent. And coding is usually done with a text, flat ASCII text editor. And that's what we have embedded in this IDE, this integrated development environment. And there's no, contrary to like Word has this variable spacing for characters depending on how wide they are. Like an I, it doesn't take a lot of space horizontally, so they actually compress it there. So if you look at a Word document, you see this uh, changing horizontal dimension. In code files, uh, they are all the same. Now my cursor is bouncing over the left side of the screen, but I'm just coming down, right under the L was this space in the O. Here, let me come back here where there's something always in there. I don't want any spaces. So the P, okay, the S is right above that. So when I go up, the S is there. Okay, what's above that one? The I in that in user input, and then what's above that? Okay, there's that space, and then space after S and Y. Okay, so you can see that it's not variable. It's like every character gets a fixed box. So you could literally lay a grid on this screen, and all of the characters will be one on top of the other, vertically. So just something to know, and that's why the indent spaces work, because they're not variable. So in fact, if you were if you were to take this code and put it into like a Word document, or maybe a message to me, which is using this, it has a name for it, but it's this variable horizontal spacing. Um, it would mess up the code, and all your alignment and everything wouldn't look right at all. So yeah, just so you know. Okay, what else? That's the grading criteria. I think that I'm interested in now. We won't have any. We'll want the thing to work, and we won't have any constants right off the bat. I do want you to label those curlies, and start getting used to putting comments in your code. And I mean, there's a spectrum on here from 0 to I've commented every line and it looks like code. That would not be good. So just an explanation somewhere in the middle there, where there's an explanation, so that I can understand what the heck you were trying to do, and you, by the end of the course, still remember what you were trying to do just by reading your comment. Okay, you talked about the indenting. Okay, the header successfully compiles. Okay. How are we doing for time? Okay. So let's see. Let's go back to the class here then. So the thing I talked about. Okay, so that's the content. That's how the content works. You can see the content. Assignments. I do have a link, but you can always, now I'm going to right mouse click here and open in a new tab. So the assignments, all of the assignments will be listed here. Now, now I'm seeing it again from the instructor's point of view. I do have a student's point of view. Maybe I should use that instead. But here are all the assignments that we're going to go through, and we're going to cover quite a bit. You may not even know what this stuff means right now, which is okay. I mean, we're going to build, the lessons start out pretty simple here. This first one just makes sure that it's so simple. All I need to know there is that you've set up your environment correctly, and you can write this. Basically, the assignment is write hello world. Has anybody heard of hello world before, or heard of that paradigm? Okay. It came up, the first time I ever ran into it was when I was trying to do my first C program. And they said, here, try this program, type it just this way. And then the thing that it did was types out hello world. And everybody's like, yay, I wrote a program, So that's that's hopefully where you're at this week when you get done. Now, I'm not asking you to write "Hello World," but you could if you wanted to. Um, but let's see. I think it's some personal information. Just it's in the assignment. Um, so anyway, pretty simple. We start off. We're going to go through variables next. Variables are important to us. Then we're going to go to what we call branches. So now this is where the computer starts to make decisions, or your programs start to make decisions. If this variable is you know, greater than some value, do this thing. Otherwise, do some other thing. And that's where things really start to become useful for coding. Your coding will start to really become enhanced, new level. Then we'll talk about looping, and there was a demonstration. Well, I showed you the do loop in this program that I showed you that do loop, and yeah, here do while. So, and we'll get into the details of that. Here's another loop in here. It's known as a for loop, and yeah. So anyway, I don't want to get. I'm just giving you a peek as to the future here. But loops are important, and in fact, the loop will allow us to do things like enter the text to convert. Right? We start out with the program. It says enter the text to convert, and then it did it, and it says, okay, well, you want to try it again, and then we got done with that one. Would you like to try it again? No, I want to exit this time, and then we say goodbye. So this is an example of where a conditional statement happens. If you type something in here other than EEE, we're going to convert it to Morse code. Otherwise, if it sees EEE, then it exits. So anyway, then we're going to build on that. We're going to do arrays. Arrays are a way to get lots of information in a small construct. And then functions and methods are, I think we actually, you do get introduced to them back here in lesson 3, but we're going to flesh that out in lesson 6, and you can see a method and a function. I'm scrolling up. Sorry for your eyeballs. So here's an example of a method. And again, I like to see that closing curly labeled, so I can look at it at a glance and say, okay, that's the end of one, that's the beginning. Okay, great. And this is kind of what code reuse is about. This is where it starts, is with functions and methods. So that kind of construct. Okay. And then finally, we start to really get into some heavy duty stuff, and we get into objects. And I'm gonna get you guys back here. So has anybody heard about object-oriented programming? Never heard about it. Oh, okay. And Taylor, I can't see which way your thumb's going. Pull it back on the screen. There. Oh, okay. Good. Good. Everybody's on the same page, and I don't know what the vote is for the other guys. Maybe they wrote something in the. Okay, I don't see anything coming up here. Okay, so that's good. It's no problem. We're going to get there, and I mean, you're going to like them, or else. No, you will like them. They're fun. Just joking, Nicholas. It's not that bad. So anyway, you're really going to like them. You talk about reusing your code, objects. You can, if you write them well, you can use them as if you had like a toolbox full of wrenches and screwdrivers and stuff. Objects can be that to you. Pointers and memory management. We'll get to I/O streaming. That's a good one, because we'll be actually saving information to and getting information out of files, and that's a way to make your program persistent over time. So you might do some work and save it in the file, and you can start your program sometime in the future, and it'll get the latest stuff from that file. Or another thing that various configurations and profiles are stored in files. Actually, a database itself, whole database is stored in files. And the files are stored in physical memory, like a hard disk or solid state memory or something like that. Inheritance, that's something we learn about in conjunction with object-oriented. And then finally, recursion. And that's an interesting animal. Finally, exceptions. So if there are problems in your program, how do you handle them? So that's kind of the course in a nutshell. And that's what you can expect. Did we look? We could probably look at the syllabus again. I don't know. Did we look at the syllabus last time? I can't remember. We did look at it? Okay. And I showed you the schedule. The schedule's in the syllabus. Okay, so if you ever wonder what we're doing this week, look in the syllabus. All the way to the bottom, there's the schedule. Okay, just got a few more minutes here. Okay, discussions. Let's talk about discussions. Okay, so, and again, I like to go through, I like to find it from the menu. And in the content, I've given you a link over to this thing, but you can always get there through the menu at the top of the screen. All right, so we're doing, sorry about that. We're doing discussions a little bit different this time. So there are like 3 components to a discussion grade, and one of them is extra credit. I've decided to make it extra credit. So so you're going to post your initial discussion, okay? And what I'd like you to talk about, did I put it on there? Oh, I think I put it underneath here. The graded discussion topics are what I have trouble with. And that's every week, it's going to be the same thing. So figure out what you're having trouble with, even if you're not having any trouble, and post that out there. And so, and the other thing that I'm going to do is before you can, you'll have to post something here, and I got to fix that to make that happen. But I want you to post your posting first, and then now I want you to also respond to somebody else. So postings without any responses to them are, I call them lectures, and that position is already taken in this class. That's a joke. Okay, so oh gosh, you guys got to loosen up. So anyway, you get 5 points for those 2 things. Now, in order to make it a discussion, every post out there should have some kind of response to it. So what I don't want to see is people without responses. But if you do get a response on yours, you get an extra 2 points for it. And now the way you can ensure that you always get those extra 2 points is team up with somebody. I mean, look at all these handsome faces out here, and pick somebody and say, I'll respond to yours if you respond to mine. So that's simple. All right, so that's the graded discussion, and I have something to fix. I made a note to myself that I'm going to get rid of those old instructions. So let's see. If we scroll down some more, we can actually see the discussion. So there's one for each lesson. So and the other thing I should point out too is that the discussions have a window. So if you don't, and they move on. So each week there's a new discussion. So everybody's moved on to the next discussion. So it's like if you missed the window, sorry about that. And the other thing too is just by points. If you opt out of the discussion, you'll lose 1 letter grade, and that's not threatening. what I'm trying to say is, well, let's see, one letter grade, it's a grade worth of points. Okay, so yeah, if you add up all these points here, you're going to be down one letter grade. So don't do it. It's easy. These are the easy points in the class. So okay, so let me go back. Okay, quizzes. There are no particular magic about them. But this would be then the third piece that let's see, where am I? I think these are them. That's the grading criteria. Okay, here are the quizzes. So they too have a window, and on these you can see that they're open all the way to December 7th when the class ends. That just is to allow people to, if they need to, have some time to make up the quiz. Now, on thinking about turning things in late, on the homework assignments, it's the official position is 1 week late for 50% credit. And I think that's kind of a standard thing. Just so I don't get overloaded with all kinds of stuff, or some people wait till the end of the class or something. We don't want that to happen. So anyway, you can see that the topics are the same, and we do have basically three exams. So exam 1, so it's 4 lessons, and then exam 1, 4 more lessons, and exam 2, I think it's three more lessons, and we finally have this final exam. And the promise is it's going to be comprehensive. So questions from all the way back. By the way, another thing on the questions, or on the quizzes here, they're based on a pool of questions. So let's say the pool is 25 questions, and we only need 10 points, I believe it is. And each question gets a point. So 10 questions are pulled out of that 25, but they're random. So each person's got their own unique test. Just FYI. Okay, so that's it. So any particular questions about what you've talked or seen in the textbook or anything like that? Okay. Well, then I guess we covered everything. So I guess we can get going. We can adjourn early. Now it looks like my video has frozen on me. And everybody's video is frozen. There we go. Okay, I see it now. Okay. Yeah, okay. So did anybody give thought to what would be a better time to meet? Is the 2:30 in the afternoon good with everybody, or do we have people who are working and it would be better to have this in the evening, or is okay? So give me one of these if you're happy. Okay, I'm okay. And then Taylor, did you want to talk about another? You're okay with this time too? Okay.
Yeah, this time works. If it's all right, I'd probably prefer like coming in on Thursdays, so like once a week.
Oh, just once a week?
Yeah.
I'm happy with that too. We could, let's see, is anybody typing here?
That's me, my bad.
Taylor's typing. Okay, and I don't see anybody else typing. Yeah, I'm okay with Thursday. Maybe we could go, up to an hour and a half or something like that. I'm sure that you have other things that you'd like to do other than sitting in a meeting. Let's see. Praheeth says mornings and afternoons are fine. I wouldn't do evenings. Okay. All right. So it sounds like afternoon is the good time, so let's stick with that. Okay, so let me ask about Thursday only. Would that be a preferred thing? So let's vote on that. Okay, and don't bend to peer pressure here. Okay, so if we met then Thursday at 2:30, and if I made it an hour and a half, I think that we'd all survive that, I hope. And the last thing is I want for people to be falling off of their chairs and falling to sleep. So okay, well let's do that. Sounds like a plan. So we can leave today a little bit early unless anybody's got anything else. And this is a good time to to talk about those kind of things. And then the graded discussion is a good time to talk about things between each other. And I typically stay out of those discussions, so feel free to say anything you want. I guess even bad things about me, but we're we're open to free speech here. How's that? So anyway, okay. Well, it's good to see everybody here, and we'll have fun this semester. So good night.
Hi, I just had a quick question. I was wondering if I could ask before you left. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead. And it's Nicholas.
It's
Okay.
super quick. I'm just curious. Should we have had any prior coding experience before this class?
You know, I saw someplace. I've seen it both ways. No experience necessary, and
Okay.
some previous experience. I tell you what, let's go with the no experience. It sounds like that's where we're at, and we're going through it stepwise anyway. So
Perfect.
we're fine. We're fine.
Awesome. I figured based on everyone else's like answers on like the thumbs up, but like I was just in case I was like, I wonder if they've maybe taken a class before and I haven't or something, because this is my first coding class. Just to make sure. But I mean, I've been reading the textbook and all of that, so I'm not too worried about all of it, especially we're going step by step. I just wanted to know for my sake.
Yeah, this first lesson, the assignment is real easy. Basically, you need to set up an environment. I'm suggesting JGrasp, and I just showed you the demo of that. So in fact, when you download it, make sure that you download it with I should have mentioned this. Download it with the compiler or with the Java. So
okay, I think I downloaded it from the link that was on D2L, so I'll make sure that everything is on there, like the compiler is there and all of that.
Yeah, otherwise, if you try to run it and there's no compiler behind it, it'd probably be better to uninstall it and download the one with the compiler, and then it'll work. I've really never had any problems with JGrasp. Now, the one problem that you can have is if you have, if you're using like a MacBook or something like that, that's a totally different environment. So the way, I don't know, are you using a MacBook?
No, I hate Mac, honestly. I use Windows.
Okay. Yeah, Mac is actually, they've come over, their underlying code is based on a Linux environment now. So
yeah, I've just like I've always used my laptop for like plenty of things, and in general, all like if I want to play like games or anything like that, or do any sort of like photo editing, which I do a lot of, I've just noticed that Windows has always worked better for me.
okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I think you're going to be fine. So just take it a step at a time. And I think, the other thing too is just from, we're college students now, so we're adults, and so we manage our time better. So just basically, I'm a procrastinator too, but the sooner you get started in the week, the better. and you've been at the last two class meetings here, and
Yeah.
I don't think I've given any earth-shattering information or anything like that, but
No, it's all been very manageable.
okay, yeah. So it's going to get it can get a little bit more intense as the assignments get more involved, and you're going to have to do some thinking. And that's what I want to see in the discussion is, hey, I'm doing this. This is the way I'm trying it. What are you doing? So sometimes in the very beginning here, like until we get to methods, when we finally get talking about methods, then the variety of the ways that you can solve these problems, I mean, they reach infinite. So we're still in the beginning though, but large programs, I mean, there's lots and lots of ways to approach a big program. But anyway,
Gotcha. Well, I'm excited for it.
yeah. So,
And then
where are you at? In the cottage or something? I see these
I know
rooms,
it's like a townhome kind of thing, I guess. I don't know. I just moved in actually a couple weeks ago.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know if I can like show off there, but it's just like a wall and that's our door. But it's nice. It's got like all the bedrooms are upstairs, so all like the living room is just downstairs.
Nice.
No, I'm super pleased with it. It's right off of like Mason and Mulberry, and I work in Old Town, so super nice to be. Sorry?
In Boulder, right?
No. I went to CU. Like I'm taking a gap year from CU, and cost of living was a big thing. So I'm living and I'm working in Fort Collins this year. So like I'm still attending. Like I have class. Like I'll be on the at the Larimer campus in about 3 hours. I have a class.
Right.
And then I do have one quick question. Not about the class, but just what do you prefer to be called, Professor Warren or Ray or something of the sorts?
I don't know. I haven't done a lot of these stand-up classes, so whatever you feel comfortable with. How's that?
Okay, sounds good. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
I'll probably take the formal approach. That's just sounds more natural for me.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. I think, when I first started teaching, somebody called me Professor Warren. I'm like, really? But, I guess that's okay.
You are a professor and your last name's Warren, so.
Yeah, I guess that's okay. Well, I guess I was always under the impression you had to have a PhD to do that, so I don't have that. But
I mean, you're still you're teaching class. Whatever you like to be called. I just I don't want to be rude or anything.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I'm getting kind of old to be worrying about stuff like that.
I hear you. I understand. All right. Well, thank you. I will see you. So I guess we're not having class Tuesday then. We're just doing the meetings on Thursdays.
Yeah. We'll just I'll have to announce that.
Sounds good.
That we'll do Thursdays instead, and yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. All right. Well, I will see you next Thursday then. Thank you.
All righty, Nicholas.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.